So again, good afternoon, everyone. Black NSA presents again our signature now. I would call it a signature. It's
Hmm.
our signature mentorship call. And certainly our guests and our attendees, this is for you. And why do I say that? Because this is going to give you an opportunity to really delve in and ask questions and really delve in and get some guidance from our experienced, well renowned speakers. Uh, this afternoon, we have Dr. Will Moreland. And Dr. Will Moreland, I had the opportunity to meet him at a recent Black NSA Millionaire Mastermind, and he was phenomenal. So that was my first experience learning about him. And then when I had an opportunity to read his bio, and I had an opportunity to get a better understanding of who he is and who he represents in our industry, I was just very, very honored to be in his presence. So you are all in store for an excellent, excellent mentorship call today. I'm not going to necessarily read his bio. I'm going to give him an opportunity to kind of share a little bit about himself. But the brief remarks I would like to share regarding Dr. Will, he's a veteran, he's an author, he's an international speaker globally. I mean, when we think about global speaking opportunities, everyone doesn't have that opportunity. But Dr. Will is one that does have that opportunity, and he's done a very phenomenal job at it. He's someone who, when you look at his bio, when you look at his experience, he's someone you want to know. He's someone that you want to learn from. And again, today we're going to give the opportunity to share and or go, again ask questions. Lethea, I want to turn it over to you. See if you have some remarks before we start the program and really give Dr. Will an opportunity to share a little bit about himself, and then we're going to turn it over to our attendees. All right.
Absolutely, absolutely. First of all, it is my honor and pleasure to serve as your president. I take my responsibility in this role extremely seriously. I take it, seriously, and it is a privilege to be able to dream, right? And for us to cast vision and then to have our community share in that dream of what we can do to impact the world with our brilliance, with our ideas, with our gifts. And this is a kind of I see Black NSA as an incubator where we can come to a space where we are valued, where we're respected, where we're championed, where we're seen, where we're supported, and we can work on ourselves, work on our businesses, and then go out into the world and make a difference. And so I just want to thank you for being a part of this community, and I want to encourage you to lean in, like just lean fully in. We're doing some really big things within Black NSA, and I was just sharing with Dr. Will, one of the visions that I just cast to the board is that I want to do a global summit next year. And so we're now rolling up our sleeves, beginning to think about what that looks like and how we would accomplish that. And so for me, when I think about Black NSA and I dream for Black NSA, there is no limit. Like there are no limits. And just having an opportunity, I remember when Jason and I met on a phone call and we dreamed up this mentorship call, right? And now we're in our um, second month, I believe it is. And yeah, so we're in our
Yes.
second month. And
Yes.
now Jason calls it a signature program. But I welcome your ideas. We're in the process of looking to bring on some additional leaders. I personally am interviewing for a new membership chair, someone to lead the membership efforts that we have planned for Black NSA, and a committee. We want to build a strong committee around that. So if you are someone or you know someone who would make a great addition to that committee or any of our committees, please let me know. And we're taking nominations right now for new board members. So check that out if you've not already seen it. I hope to see you at Influence. I also, before I turn it over to, Dr. Will, I just want to encourage you right now, if you turn on the TV, if you listen to the news, if you even listen to some of your colleagues, they will say that there is not enough for everyone, that their companies are no longer hiring speakers, that speakers are starving, and I don't have any bookings on my calendar. That may be some people's reality, but I want to let you know that you have a choice in which story you will choose to participate in, because every day I drive down my street, there are still people buying $1 million homes. There are still people, businesses that are open. There are still people buying cars. There's still people spending money. And so the choice I've made is to go find the people who are still investing in the growth of their people, in the growth of their organization. And I'm going to find them and connect with those individuals. So I refuse to participate and or accept the scarcity message that is currently being shared with speakers. And I want to encourage you to not buy in to that scarcity message. There is abundance in this world, and we get to magnetically attract to us the opportunities, the resources, and everything we need to be everything that we're called to be. And so I just want to encourage you to keep when you think about the lens with which you look at the world, I encourage you to look at the world through through those lenses. And I just got to give my brother a shout out. Dr. Will is an amazing gentleman that you are going to be so blessed to hear from today. This man has inspired me in ways that he doesn't even recognize. But on this journey of walking, as a professional speaker and having a brother like him, who I remember when I had a dream of creating Certify Your Brilliance, which is a course to teach you how to take your IP and certify your IP into to create a certification program. I called Dr. Will, and he was one of the 16 experts that I had a chance to interview and reverse engineer how they made their certification program successful. So when you show up like that, this man shows up every day on social media, sharing, transforming, and inspiring people. And today, the format of our mentorship calls is Dr. Will share a little bit with you about his journey. So you get to know the man behind the legend. He will also share with you three things. It may be more, maybe he has one thing, but he'll share with you something, one thing, 1 to 3 things that he thinks every speaker should know. And that takes about 30 minutes. And then the rest of the time, it's for you to just pull from him. We don't use the term pick your brain because we want Dr. Will to leave with all of his brain. We want you to pull from his wisdom. We want you to pull from the room. And so that's your responsibility. And I just pray that you all show up and lean fully in, and that you get everything that's available to you in this time that we have together. Jason, I'll turn it back over to you in case you want to say something before you turn it over to Dr. Will.
Well, you said it all, and I'm excited about hearing from Dr. Will. So we're going to turn the program over to Dr. Will. And again, attendees, get ready for your questions. Get ready for the insight that you want to be able to ask Dr. Will to share. And this is a learning experience. We're here for guidance, but we're here to learn. So, Dr. Will, the floor is yours.
Lethea and Jason, thank you so much for this opportunity. Anytime I get to speak to us, I am always overjoyed because, as many of you know, when you deal with us, the road to success and navigating success is a little bit different. And I always look at it as there's some additional information that we may need. And so I want to thank Black NSA for creating this space for us to come together. I think that's one of the most powerful aspects of Black NSA is that you have people like Lenora, you have people like a Simon and a Della Toro and a Les Brown that will show up, and Lethea that would show up and share their information that makes it so much easier for our journey. So once again, I'm just privileged to be here and to share just a little bit about my journey. I'll tell you this, and as Lethea said, I'll share some overarching ideas that I think will be beneficial from you, and maybe they'll help you pull some questions you can ask me in the latter part of our discussion. But I like to call myself the accidental speaker, the accidental speaker. In 2010, I moved to Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, after living in Germany for 15 years. I originally got there via the military. I was in the Army for 6 years. And then after I got out the Army, my wife and I, we decided to stay and live in Germany. We were connected to a church there and just really felt a connection there. So we got out the military, stayed with that ministry, and then as God would have it, we ended up pastoring that same church. And so we pastored for another 9 years over in Germany. But then I felt that God was just calling me. I don't say better, I just feel as though God was calling me to something different. And so at the height of it, my wife and I, we were pastoring three churches. We had grown the initial church that we were in to three different locations all throughout Germany. And so when I decided to step away, everybody thought I was crazy. They were like, why would you do that? Is the devil in your cornflakes? What's really going on, right? Anytime you get ready to go do something that people don't agree with or they don't quite understand, they think you're crazy. And so, but I stepped down from pastoring, packed up our bags. We moved to Phoenix, Arizona, literally with just our suitcases. That was it. I had gave my Range Rover to my assistant. We opened up our house and told the members of the church come in and get the furniture and everything. And I sold my wife on a dream. I said, you know what? Um, there's something in my heart that I believe God wants me to do. And if you just trust me, we'll get that all back tenfold. But I do believe that, and she believed that Arizona was going to be our land of milk and honey, even though we had never been here before, even though we didn't have any connections. And so the goal was, and the dream was to, as I was pastoring in Germany, I also had a consulting company. And so my goal was to go fully into consulting and build out that business. And how many of you know how you put your PowerPoints together and you put your Excel spreadsheets together and you're hoping that life would mirror what you have on that PowerPoint? Well, how many of you know that life doesn't always mirror what you put on the PowerPoint, right? And so to add some excitement, because I like to live on the edge, to add some excitement to it, my wife was then pregnant with our son. So here we are making a cross-country move. My wife is pregnant. I have no job. She has no job. We have no connections. All we have is our faith in God, that believing that this move was going to be the move for us. So we get here. First little challenge that we run up against is my wife is pregnant. We go file for insurance. Insurance company tells us, hey, wait a minute, we can't insure your wife because she has a pre-existing condition. We're like, what pre-existing condition? So we're getting worried. We're thinking they're getting ready to come back and say they found cancer in her blood work or something like that. And they come back and say, your wife is pregnant. And we're like, yeah, we know. That's why we need insurance. We know that. But in the insurance industry, we call that a pre-existing condition. So she's uninsurable. So now the money that we had saved up and was going to be used for the move, we now have to use it for medical and things like that. The business is not going as quite as I wanted it to go. Remember, 2010 is coming right off of that recession of 2008. So it was really the wrong time to move, but it was the right time, if you guys understand what I mean. So a year into this, the money's dwindling down, and I'm getting nervous, to be honest with you. I'm getting nervous. My wife is looking at me. For all of you that are wives, you know what you guys like, right? Y'all like safety and security. Y'all want to know that the bills are going to be paid. And so I'm sitting at lunch one day with a buddy, and I'm really complaining to him, and I'm saying, man, things like they're not going according to the PowerPoint. Man, maybe I messed up. Maybe I missed God. Maybe I shouldn't have, stepped away. And he's talking to me and he says, Will, you used to be a pastor, man. I've heard you speak, man. You should be a professional speaker. Now, this is going to sound really weird, but I didn't know that there was an industry called professional speakers. I didn't know anything about NSA. I didn't know anything about Toastmasters. I had listened to Les Brown. I had listened to Zig Ziglar. I had listened to Jim Rome. I had listened to Lisa Nichols. I had listened to Tony Robbins. I had listened to Dennis Waitley. I had listened to all of those, but I just thought it never dawned on me that you could wake up and say, I intentionally want to be a professional speaker. I just thought they had got hit with a magic wand and, they just got to go travel. And all the times that I was in the military and we would have people come and do training, I just never thought that, hey, these people are getting paid um, to do this. I never thought about it. So when he tells me this, I look at him with a weird face because up until that time, people would ask me, hey, come and do a Martin Luther King Jr. speech and come and tell us about, your journey. But I would get a gift card or I get a free lunch. And so I'm looking at my boy and I'm saying, I just told you that my wife is looking at me crazy. We getting ready to go into the poorhouse, and you talking about do something that's gonna get me some gift cards. And I'll never forget, he pulls out this check. He pulls out a check for $3,500. And he says, hey man, I just got paid $3,500 for 1 hour. He now had my attention. I said, what? $3,500 for 1 hour? And so I'm a mathematician. Quickly in my mind, I'm like, at least I know I'm better than you, so I probably get three of those. Let me see. That's 10K a month, right? And he says, next week, man, next week in California, there's a conference, there's a speakers conference. So once again, I don't even know this world exists. He says next week is a gentleman by the name of James Melanchek. He does these speaker boot camps. He does these speaker boot camps, and he's having one next week in California. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I don't have no money to go out there. I don't have no money to waste. I can't go to my wife and say I'm going to take the last little money and go to this speaker conference when we didn't even know speaker industry existed. But he had convinced me. He's like, Will, you need to go. So I go down there. Long story short, I go down there. It's 1,500 speakers. Now remember, I don't even know this industry exists. So now it's 1,500 people I'm seeing that are calling themselves professional speakers, but then everybody I talked to, I said, man, what do you speak about? Everybody spoke about leadership development. I said, man, that's what I speak about. Man, where am I going to fit in? Where am I going to make my mark if everybody's a leadership development life coach type speaker? But I invested 3 days there, and when I got home, I was thoroughly convinced that this was it. He convinced me enough that you can make a living and you can build a life and a career with this speaking. But you know how it is when you go to a conference, you get all pumped up, you get all motivated, you get all inspired, but then you get home and you like, what's next? What's next? I had all the motivation, I had all the passion, I had all the desire, but I didn't know who to call. I didn't know who to reach out to. I didn't know how to book a gig. I forgot that part. I didn't ask that at the conference. And then I didn't have any money to pay for the what? The upsell. We'll give you the blueprint if you just give us another $10,000 to come to the mastermind. Well, I didn't have that. And so I get home, 3 months has passed. I haven't booked any gigs. And so now I'm kind of feeling a little low. I'm looking at my checking account, it's dwindling down. And then I said, you know what? Okay, I need to figure this out, Will. You need to figure this out. And so for the next 3 months, I said, I'm going to do a deep dive into the business of speaking. I'm going to do a deep dive into the business of this industry. I wanted to know why I was getting a gift card and Les Brown was getting $25,000. I wanted to know why I was getting a fish dinner and Lisa Nichols was getting $25,000. And so I did a deep dive into the industry. And what I found out was after studying all the best of the best, the top of the top, I did a Google search back there. I wanted to know who are the top speakers? How are they crushing it? What are they doing? And what I found out was, and it's this formula that I now call my PAM formula. I found out that they had three things. They all had three things in common. Number one was they all had a position. They took a position in the market. They took it. So if you think about Les Brown, what was his position back then? You got to be hungry. If you want to be successful, you got to be hungry. That was his positioning. If you look at Tony Robbins, his positioning was back then was you got to wake up the giant on the inside. You got to wake up the giant on the inside. If you looked at Jim Rome, his positioning was what? Don't wish for things to get easier, wish for you to get better. Don't wish for things to get easier, wish for you to get better. They all had a strong position that they took. Whether it was do this in 3 days and you'll be better, do this in 21 days and you'll be better. All the successful individuals took a position. So, as a speaker, you want to have a sword that you're going to fall on. That this is what I believe. No matter what, this is what I believe. Come hell and high water. If you do this, you'll be successful. If you do this, you'll get this outcome. If you do this, this is the result you will get. You got to fall on a sword. Second thing was they all had a competitive advantage. They all found their advantage. What is your advantage? For Les Brown, his advantage is he can memorize quotes. If you've ever heard Les Brown, he's a master at quoting. He's a master at quoting. If you look at Lisa Nichols, she's a master at storytelling. You look at Tony Robbins, he's a master at NLP. He's a master at this. So, what's your competitive advantage? See, I'm looking at my good buddy Ken Miller there.
You muted yourself.
I think his internet just went out, so we
Okay.
will wait for him to come back. While we're waiting for Dr. Will to come back, Jason, it might be a good idea to just ask the audience what have they taken away so far from Dr. Will's message? You want to lead us in a very quick discussion?
Yeah, absolutely. We can certainly do that. I know for me, and one of the things I stated in the chat was developing our own unique value proposition because the speaking industry can be very competitive. So, is anyone else thinking in terms of their unique value proposition, or what are your takeaways from that perspective?
Looks like we have Clustine raised her hand. Clustine, would you please share what you're taking away so far?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. I love how he's simplifying it and just breaking it down to the first thing he talks about is how they position themselves with a statement. I think Will Dolly was, I can't remember what it was, but anyway, how you position yourself with a statement and you build on that. I think that's great because everything should come from the core of something that is strong and powerful and then grow from there. So I love that he shared that, and that was the first thing that he shared. So it makes me rethink a few things.
Wonderful.
So thank you for this.
Yeah.
Anyone else have insights that they take away?
I got one to share. Hey, first of all, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, there must be some devil in your cornflakes. Okay, all right. So, and it just that humor, levity, kind of lightens the room so you can hear the heavy message, right? And so that's something he does innately. You know, someone who has a beautiful smile like his, they're used to it, and that is a competitive advantage. The second thing is when he came home from the conference and said, what do I do next? He made a conscious decision not just to admire Les, not just to admire Tony Robbins, but to study them. And that is, there's a reel on YouTube called Motivation University or something like that. They did an interview with Kobe Bryant. And that's exactly what he said about what changed the trajectory of his career in the NBA is when he stopped admiring Michael Jordan and started studying him. And that's true of all of us. I don't care what we want to achieve. When you study excellence, you put you in a position to execute with excellence. So that's what I drew from it.
Great. Well, I believe we have Dr. Will back. We were just getting some insights from the attendees. So you are making an impact tremendously, and we know something may happen with the internet, but you're back. Let's go.
Yeah,
Hey,
man, it's crazy.
Wanda said there's some devils in the cornflakes, Dr. Will.
Man, that's what it
Devils in the
was, man. My,
cornflakes.
my my computer just started rebooting. I'm like, what are you doing? All right. So I think I left off talking about your advantage, right? So find your advantage. And then here, guys, here is the magic and the miracle in all of this. The M in this PAM formula is marketing. Marketing. And what is marketing? Marketing is just your consistent messaging to the marketplace. So once you find your position, once you find your advantage, now it's communicating that consistently. Now let me just tell you this. So remember I told you just 15 years ago, I didn't even know that the speaking industry existed. And I'm sharing this with you, not to brag or anything like that, but I want you to know that I was able to go from an unknown speaker. No one knew about Dr. Will. No one knew about my brand. No one knew anything about me 15 years ago to now being named one of the top 30 uh, speakers in the world. On that list is Tony Robbins. On that list is Gary Vee. On that list is Mel Robbins. I'm number 8 on that list, and I share that with you because um, I want to undergird what I'm telling you works. What I'm telling you works. If you want to find in this crowded space, if you want to find in this crowded space of speakers where they say there are over 50,000 of us in the United States, how are you going to stand out? You got to find the sword that you're going to fall on, your positioning, your advantage, and your marketing. And then now in technology, with AI, you have the opportunity to super max yourself. Like when I think about when I started out 15 years ago, the tools that are available to us today, ChatGPT, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of this wasn't around 15 years ago as it is right now. And so let me just drop this on you real quick, and then we can get into the question and answers. There's 5 things that I want you guys to consider as we move forward. Number one, if you're going to be a successful speaker, it all starts in your mind. It all starts in your mind. As a man thinketh, so is he. As a man thinketh, so is he. One of the things that I've always done is use visualization to become successful. So no matter whatever I was doing when I was in the military, I use visualization. What do I mean by that? I saw somebody that was doing something that I wanted to do at that level, and I mimicked, modeled, copy. Mimic, model, copy. Right? There's nothing new under the sun. So don't come to this industry feeling like, oh, I got to come up with these brand new ideas, or I got to come up with some new. There's nothing new under the sun. What you're trying to do, someone has already done it. Just mimic, model, and copy. And when I say copy, I'm not talking about my name is Wayman Winbush. No, 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 no. But find what he's doing that's successful and mimic that. So if he's doing a blog every week, then you do a blog. If he's doing videos, then you do videos, right? And so the mindset. Number 2, Lethea talked about this. There's more than enough. You got to have an abundant mindset. There's more than enough. There's more. Trust me, there's more than enough. Alethea alluded to that when they're talking about there's no opportunities out there. There's opportunities out there, right? Number three, I want you to think partnerships. A part of this Black NSA, there's so many amazing, amazing speakers. Ken and I literally just met maybe about a month ago, a week ago. He reaches out to me and said, "Hey, Dr. Will, I would love to get on your calendar and just talk. Let's just talk some business stuff." We were on a call for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. At the conclusion of it, hey man, we should do a book together. So now literally me and Ken are in the midst of writing a book together. What is that African proverb? If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. So find people inside this community that you can partner with. I want you to think about it like this. Who can I partner with that has the same client that I have, but we serve different things? So, for instance, if you're selling shampoo, and I'm selling fish oil, the client needs both of them. You guys understand that? The client needs both of them. Because they bought shampoo doesn't mean they're not going to buy fish oil. They need both of them. So find people that you can partner with and say, you know what? I speak on this, but David, you speak on this. Let's partner together and let's offer this service to this company. They can get a 2-for-1. They can get more bang for their buck. If you start doing that, you'll go a lot further. The fourth thing is I want you guys to start thinking global impact. I want you to start thinking global impact. I want you to start thinking that I have a message, that I have a service, that I have information that can go global. Many of you have this little thing called a passport. And with that passport gets you into 175 countries. Out of those 170 countries, the majority of them speak English or have English as their business language. So that means you can go to Uganda. That means you can go speak in Italy. That means you can go speak in Dubai because their business, the language of business is English. And so this passport opens you up. And like I said, I've lived in 5 different countries. I've visited over 60 different countries. They love us. And when I say us, I'm talking about us around the world. Don't become closed-minded to think because we're in America that the rest of the world thinks like some people in America think about us. The rest of the world loves us. They look at Black Americans and they say, oh my God, everything that you've been through, the resiliency that you guys have, the awesomeness that you guys have, the creativity that you guys have. We are the standard. We are the standard. Listen, when's the last time you ever said, oh man, that girl, she sing like she's Asian? You've never said that. What do you say? Oh, that white girl sound like she Black. Oh, that white boy, he been around some Black brothers. Oh, that Italian dude, he's been to the barbecue. We are the standard. And so this is when you look at hip hop, when you look at comedians, they figured that out. They said, wait a minute. When I got to Germany and went to the club, they were singing Snoop Dogg. And that's why Snoop started going to Belgium. That's why he started going to Morocco. That's when he started going overseas because he said, wait a minute, they rock with us. They rock with us. So I want you to start thinking global. And then the last thing, number 5, I want you to start thinking creative bookings. Creative bookings. Don't just think the stage. Don't just think the stage. I want you to think creative bookings. Well, I'll give you one example and we can go into question and answer. Creative bookings. One client that I have is a community organization that does community work, and they bring in all the stakeholders to the table. They bring in all the corporate people. They bring in the police. They bring in the fire. They bring in all these community partners. And what they've built is this ecosystem where they meet once a month and they talk about the community. And then every quarter they have like a summit or a seminar or a conference. Well, they contracted me to come in every quarter to talk leadership, talk culture, talk civility. And they paid me $200,000 to do that, to come in 4 times a year. So that's a creative booking. So I want you to think about not just the stage, not just get on stage, but how many other creative bookings can you come up with? And so I hope those, that PAM formula about finding your positioning, finding your advantage, being able to market yourself, and then these just 5 ideas about mindset, about abundance, about partnership, global impact, and creative bookings. I hope that's giving you something to spark your interest in your mind this morning, this afternoon, wherever you may be watching us from. And then I'm going to open it up. I see we're at the time. I'm going to open it up for Q&A.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. I told you you're in store for a great afternoon. Thank you so much. And again, now's your time. Now's your time to ask questions. I'm going to ask the first question, if you don't mind. For an aspiring speaker, someone who may be more of a business person that speaks and really wants to break into the speaking industry and really put themselves in a position where they can ask for a significant fee or a nominal fee that spearheads them towards their speaking career. What advice would you give that aspiring speaker?
Yeah. So we have this analogy that we teach in our Speakers Academy. It's a baseball analogy, and I call it getting to first base. So, what are the things that you need to do to get to first base? For me, I always teach our speakers, I call it the 2K keynote, the 2K keynote. In your local community, you have different organizations. You have the Kiwanis Club, you have the Rotary Club, you have Chamber of Commerce, you have all these different, you have the women's group, you have men's group, you have all these different groups that may not have big budgets. In most corporations, they have ERGs. They may not have big budgets, but they do have at least 2,000. They're willing to risk at least 2,000. If you don't really have a brand, you're not a big name speaker. They got 2,000 for their ERG meeting, right? Real estate does like their monthly huddles. Every Monday they'll come in and they'll do a huddle. So different opportunities like that. I would say you can start to transition to doing those 2K keynotes until you get your rhythm, right? Once you get your rhythm, and so let's say if you can lock in 2 to 3 of those a month, that's $6,000. You lock that up. Next month, you lock that up. Next month, you lock that up. That's $18,000 in just 3 months. That now you have some breathing room. Now we can get to second base. What's second base? That's your 5 to 10,000 gig, where now it's a little bit longer process that you're trying to get inside of corporate America. But now you talk to the ERG for, let's say, Google. You talk to their ERG, that gets you in the door. Now you can start building relationships that when do you guys do your sales conference? When do you guys do your all employee conference? And now you're building relationships because that's going to be the crust of your business, the relationships that you have. So that's the advice I would give to someone starting out. Don't despise the day of small beginnings, right? We all want to hit the home run and get the 20K and the 25K. Those are far and in between, right? In between those, the real baseball people know it's your on base percentage. It's getting to first base. Getting to first base. Once you get a rhythm that gets you on first base, and then once again, as speakers, man, I'm not sneezing at an extra because you already have a job. So I'm not sneezing at an extra $6,000 to $8,000 a month.
Excellent. Thank you. Eva has your hand raised. So let's go to Eva with your question.
Hey, Dr. Well. So you
Hello,
got
Eva.
that creative bookings. And so I need a little mini mentoring on this. So I had a client back in 2020 that was starting a business in Canada, real estate and financial education. So since he was my client, I started speaking at his annual conferences, and I just did their mastermind in Cancun. So the relationship is growing and developing, right? Now they want me more involved because of the success of it. So I would love some more ideas on creative bookings, because before I was speaking for free, getting clients, private clients, paying kind of a JV split with anything that I got from their stage. I made them pay me for Cancun, but I'm also going to do the JV split. We're moving into that next phase. What possibilities do you see that could
Oh,
happen?
all types of possibilities. So give you an example. That's what I would call the holy grail. If you can find an organization that falls in love with your content, with your results, now one of the things that we do, we talk from the perspective of partnership. And so every time I work with an organization, my goal is to turn them into a partner. And so what I talk to them about is, okay, listen, you have your accountant, you have your lawyer, you have your HR that you have. You don't change that every year. You don't change that every month. I would love to be your training partner. I would love to grow with your organization. I'll be your on-call expert. And so this is what it kind of looks like. We'll come up, what we do is we have a we have a 4 phase program that we do with our clients. So beginning of the year, we're going to come in quarter number 1. We're going to set the tone. So I'm going to be meeting with the CEO. I'm going to be meeting with the C-suite. What's the vision for this year? They use me to come and undergird that message to all the employees. Quarter number 2, we're now doing assessments. We're going to do assessments. How is first quarter going? What are some of the metrics that we wanted to do? Quarter number 3, do we need to review anything? Do we need to revise anything? And then quarter number 4, that's our close out the year. We had an amazing year. Here we are ready to go into the new year. So for me, I want them to be my partner. If you're not changing your attorney and your accountants every year, you shouldn't be changing your training company. I want to grow with you. If you get into a merger, I want to be there. Explain it to your employees, get the new company in on your culture, things like that. So there's a multiplicity of ways that you can approach it. But if you start with thinking not as it's a gig or a one-time thing, but how can we just expand this partnership? Then you have coaching for the CEO, coaching for the executive staff. Then you have coaching for who's in your pipeline, who is potential leaders that we can create a group for, that I'll come in and I'll teach them some leadership principles, how to transition into your next leadership. Because you are a woman, I'll put something together for women. Who's on your pipeline that you think need additional coaching. So yeah, it can go, multiple ways. And that's what I try to do with a lot of our clients, turn them into partners.
Perfect. Thank you
Great.
so much. That gives me a lot to chew on and think about and get to that creative partnership, if you will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amani, looks like you have your hand raised. Why don't you come with your question?
Yes, yes. What's up, Dr. Will? Thank you for all
What's
this.
going on, man?
I love it when you share your philosophy behind your 40 to 50 sales activities per week. Can you kind of just share that with us and tell us if you've made any tweaks to it the past kind of half year?
Yeah. So as a one of the things that has really helped me out is that I made my business a business. And for each of us, you have to make your business a business. And so what do I mean by that? You got to know your numbers. So I'm a numbers guy. What's your number? What is it? What's the number that you want to earn from your speaking business? One of the things I always ask my students is, I know what you want to do. I know what you want to do. You want to go out there and serve. You want to go out there and impact. You want to go out there and make a difference. I know that's what you want to do. But the question I have for you is, what do you want your business to do for you? What do you want your business to do for you? For me, I wanted it to create freedom. I wanted it to create flexibility. I wanted it to create an amazing lifestyle. I needed it to pay for my vacations. I needed it to pay for my quality of lifestyle. So I asked myself, what's that number, Will? What's that number that's going to do all of that? So just to make the numbers easy, let's just say the number is 100K. Let's just say the number is 100K. That's the number I need to handle my operations. That's the number I need to handle my lifestyle, 100K. Then what is my keynote fee? So what is my keynote fee? Let's say my keynote fee is $500. I divide that into 100K. That means I'm working too much. That takes away from my freedom. That takes away from my flexibility. I'm working too much. So now I have to do what? I got to raise my number. I got to raise my number. So let's say I raise my number to 10K. So now I need 10 yeses. That's all I need. I need 10 yeses. And remember, I told you to think about abundance. There's millions of organizations, millions of companies, millions of churches, schools, colleges, millions. All I need is 10 to say yes. That's all I need. I don't care what David is doing in his business. I don't care what Sean is doing in his business. I don't care that Wayman spoke 50 times this year. I don't care that Alethea spoke 150 times and she's going over to Dubai. I don't care about any of that. I care about my 10. And so then I figured out, what's the system that's going to get me 10? So for us, it's a simple system that I have to send out 25 emails a day, 25 emails a day. If I send out 25 emails a day, I'm going to get my number. I'm going to get my number. So for you, what is that number? Is it 5? Is it 5 a day? 25 a week? 100 a month. If you sent out 100 a month and all you needed was 10, you would almost have to be blind not to hit that target, right? But that's where most of us miss the game because we want to be on social media, we want to be superstars, we want to be famous. I never wanted to be famous. I wanted to be paid. I don't care about being famous. I want to be paid. I want to pay my mortgage. I can't go to the bank with popularity. So I want to get paid. So what does it take to get you paid? You figure that out. What do I need to do every single day on a consistent basis to get me paid? And so that's the formula that we use. And then let me share this. This may be advantageous to you as well, just to show you my business setup. So remember, I have a consultant company. So that's the mothership of my business is the consultant company. I use speaking as a marketing tool. It's easier for me to get inside of a company as a speaker than to develop the relationship as a consultant. It's easier for them to give me 20K than for them to give me 200K, right? So for me, I use speaking to keep my brand out there, to keep me relevant, to get me into the door. And then I'll say to them, now this is how we can serve you on the consultant side. So for me, my number is I need 30 keynotes a year, 30 keynotes a year at my fee. 30 keynotes at my fee. That's the key right there. I speak every year about 50 times, but 30 of those are at my fee of 25K. The other ones, it's a mix of marketing, it's a mix of speaking for free, it's a mix of getting $5,000, it's a mix of getting $10,000. Every time I speak, I'm not getting my speaking fee, right? I want to be transparent about that too, because a lot of times we think everybody is getting, every time they show up, they're getting their 25K. That's not true. Lisa still speaks for free. Les still speaks for free. Everybody still speaks for free, right? So I just want you guys to know that. But my motto is I need to, at my fee for my business, I need to speak 30 times. From those 30 times, we need to secure 5 consulting contracts, multi-year contracts. So that's our formula. Speak 30 times. From those 30 times, secure five consultant contracts, and then that's our $1 million business. So 30 times at 25K, and then each of our consultant contracts are anywhere between 150K and above. And so we do 5 of those plus the 600K from speaking. That's our $1.2 million business every year.
Great, great. Thanks so much. So I see a few people's hands raised. It looks like Linda and Hermance, and then Wyman after the 2 ladies, as well as
I think we missed Ken. Ken had his up.
Ken.
Yeah, we passed
Oh,
over
I'm sorry.
Ken.
Yep.
Ken
I
had his up, and
wasn't
then
sure that
Hermance,
was
then
all right.
Linda,
Thank you.
then Wyman, then Sean.
Hey,
There we go.
I was wondering about that. It doesn't like the you was getting ready to say something
You know what it
about
is?
me. That
There's a
made me wait.
background. There's a background picture, and
You couldn't see
I
it.
didn't
Yeah,
see the
that
hand with
was
the
black.
picture.
That's why. Anyway, it's great to hear you, Will. And there was a couple things that resonate. Well, more than a couple. And I'm just so glad that we've built a friendship. Couple things. One is a comment, and the other one's going to be more of a question. One of the things I was very, very glad to hear is that you state numbers financially. So many times I believe we have this false humility. I need to see somebody making $1 million. I need that. And I need to hear that. And knowing that that's available out there. I'm not saying I'm going to be at your level anytime soon or ever. I do real well in my business. But to hear you say, I'm number 8. Cool. A Black man is number 8 in speaking worldwide. I think that's incredible. And then your success to say, hey, I can do it. You hear my background, 15 years, and here's where I'm at. So thank you for sharing numbers. And I'm talking about dollar numbers too, let alone rankings. Okay, having said that, the question I have for you, and it's partly of what we're about, is what is your thoughts on mentorship? Do you have a mentor? Do you mentor? And what are your thoughts on mentorship itself?
Yeah, great question. As it relates to mentorship, yeah, I always think that you should have relationships that you're pouring into, Then you should have relationships that you're collaborating with. I call it the cross, all right? So down that you're pouring into, across that you're collaborating with, and then up that you're getting poured into. So mentors have been very, very vital. I think Wayman was talking about it earlier. When I got into this, who is that? Was that TLC that said, "I'm not afraid to beg"? Is that group? I'm not afraid to beg. When I got into this, I was the DM king before they had DM. Before they came up with DM, I was in them DMs, and literally I would ask people. I literally wrote down a list of the top Black speakers in the industry, and I just reached out to them. I reached out to Simon T. Belly. I reached out to George Fraser. I reached out to Adela Toro. I reached out to a Willie Jolly, and I said, "Hey, I just moved to the United States. I'm trying to figure out this speaking game. Would you mind just giving me a nugget or two?" And I think about mentoring kind of like this. I know each of us or some of us have our programs and things like that. Um, some mentorship just happens naturally. I was very blessed in the beginning to be mentored by Les Brown, and that came totally unexpectedly. Um, he was speaking out here. Quick Les Brown story. He was speaking out here in Phoenix, and the lady that I spoke at this other event, she says, "Will, I'm doing this event. Les Brown is going to be speaking. You should come." And so I said, "Oh, okay, amazing." So we're at this venue, we're at this hotel, and I'm sitting in the venue, and I start to think, I said, "Wait a minute, I'm really here to meet Les Brown. That's why I'm here." So I leave the event and I go out into the lobby. Now I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, Arizona, we're only 4% Black. So I'm going to stand out wherever I go, right? If you're Black, you're going to stand out wherever you go. So I'm looking at this hotel and I'm like, you know what? Les Brown can only come through this door. So I'm going to fix myself right here in the lobby. So when he walks in, he sees the only Black other dude in the building, right? So sure enough, Les Brown, he walks in, he looks around, surveys. "Hey, there go a brother. Hey, what's going on, brother? Hey, what's going on, Mr. Les Brown?" He said, "You here for the event?" I said, "I am. I'm here to see you and just learn from you, glean with you." And we had an opportunity. Let me tell you this. You got to take advantage of opportunity real quick. So Les Brown, you all know Les Brown. His brand is what? That black suit, white shirt, or blue shirt with a red tie, right? Les Brown has on his blue suit and he has on a t-shirt. He has on a t-shirt. And I don't know where I got this from, where I got this boldness from, but I said, "Mr. Brown, where's your tie? That's your brand. Everybody's here to see Mr. Les Brown. Where's your tie?" He says, "Man, we were at dinner and I spilled something on my tie, on my shirt and my tie. And so they gave me this t-shirt." I said, "Oh, Mr. Brown." And he's like, "Man, you're right." He tells his assistant, he says, "Hey, man, go over to the mall, man. Go get me another shirt and a tie, man." So I now had another hour just to sit down with Les Brown, and we're talking just Les Brown. And literally, Les was one of the individuals that catapulted my career because when we got into the room, he gets on stage and he says, "Where's Dr. Will? Where's Dr. Will? Dr. Will, hey, if you guys have anything that you need a speaker for and you can't get me, Dr. Will is the next best thing." And I lived off of that for about 2 years here in Phoenix, Arizona. Everybody was hiring me off of that. That's my Les Brown story. So mentorship is very important. I'm always a part of my social media, a part of me being a part of Black NSA, a part of me posting all the time is me mentoring because I wish that when I was coming up, it was a lot more, just not that nobody kept the information. We just didn't have all these platforms. So a part of my mentoring is my social media as well.
Dr. Will,
And I think
may I make a quick point about mentorship?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to share with the audience that I am being mentored by people who don't even know I exist. Like Pat Summit,
Yes.
University of Tennessee Lady Vols. I read every book. I studied her, and she mentored me just by living. And so there are some people that you will get a chance to have an intimate relationship with who are mentoring you, but there are some people that I never even met, but I've read every book and I've studied them and I know their body of work like the back of my hand. And I've been able to embody who they are in the work that I'm able to do.
And Lethea, let me add to that too. And let me tell us, because I love talking to family. We family, right? If you see somebody that you want to mentor you, I want you to think and understand that you're probably one of 1,000 people that want them to mentor them. And so if they don't return your DM, or if they don't give you that relationship that you're wanting, don't take it negatively. Don't get bent out of shape. There's 100 more, like Lethea said, there's so many books, there's so many podcasts now. When I like somebody, I'll go just listen to all their podcasts. I'll go listen to any interview that they have out there. So once again, don't get offended is the word I'm looking for. Don't get offended. Don't get offended. And then remember, on the other side, you may be as pure, you may be have the best intentions as possible, but they don't know you. They don't know if you're crazy. They don't know if you're crazy. If I stopped throughout my day for everybody that said, "Hey, Dr. Will, can I pick your brain for just 5 minutes? I just want 5 minutes," I would never get any work done. And so there's going to come a time where you can't. And so that's why I try to do things like this. That's why I do a lot of the social media, so I can say, "Hey, man, it's not that I don't want to meet with you, but man, I got 100 videos in my group, man. If you just go watch them, I'm sure your answer would get answered." So thank you for that, Lethea. Hermis, is that it? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, yes, Hermes. Or if you speak
Okay.
French, it's Hermos. So
See, I was in Europe. I thought that for a minute. I was like, "Oh, she's doing with the Hermes bag." Okay, Hermes, I got you.
yeah, so my mom, she's like, always tell people that it's Hermos and not Hermes.
Yes,
Like, okay, well,
yes.
but yes, thank you so much. I literally have like 5 pages of wisdom that you have just shared with us. So thank you so much for that. My question is, you spoke about speaking, at times speaking for free, and how
Mhm,
real that is, regardless of how far up, but just the idea of
mhm.
speaking for free. But then, can you speak a little bit about speaking, paying to speak? Because I have been approached, but because there are some speakers out there who part of their business is getting people to speak for free. My goal is to, get back, because I had law, but get back on bigger global stages. I've done a lot of virtual speaking, because COVID just led to that and it stopped me from actually being on stages. But I want to get out of the constant virtual speaking and get back on stages. And now I'm finding companies and people who are approaching me, but they're saying, you want that real, you want to be on stage, but you got to pay to speak. So if you could give us a few nuggets of wisdom on that.
Yeah. So that's a question that comes up a lot. Should I speak for free? And when should I stop speaking for free? Once again, so I created this acronym for free. So number one, because you are a business, the number one intention is to speak for a fee. That's number one, because you're a business, to speak for a fee. The second is the R. You may speak to build a relationship. Maybe the money may not be there, but it's to build a relationship. So, for instance, local real estate agent wants you to come and speak. They may not have a budget, but maybe they can buy 10, 15 of your books. But that relationship can lead to you speaking on their national stage. So, for instance, I used to speak all the time for Caldwell Banker Real Estate, the little small office here, but then it got me on their national stage. So, relationship building. The first E, then you may speak for the exposure. Now you got to be careful. You got to be careful because you are a business. Don't let them always sell you on exposure, because once again, you can't take exposure to the bank. But if it's your ideal audience, if it's your ideal client, that maybe it's a big stage. For instance, if Oprah came and asked me to speak and she says, "Will, I don't have a fee for you." Well, I'm going to speak for the exposure. It's Oprah, right? And then the last E is experience. Maybe it's a cool or dynamic experience. Maybe the organization says, we can pay for your hotel, we can pay for your flight over here to Hawaii. Well, I'm definitely saying, if you buy a ticket for me and my assistant, AKA my wife, I will be there, right? For the experience. Now, to what you're talking about, Hermes, about paying to speak. Once again, you have a business. Think about your business as a business. So how much of your revenue are you going to use for marketing? How much of it you're going to use for advertising and things like that? So some of the pay to speak audience may be your target audience, but you need to make very sure of that. I'm not going to pay to speak to someone that is not a potential client in the future. That's not a good use. I'm not going to do that. Now, once again, it may be for exposure, it may for the experience, it may be for the relationship, but I'm not going to. But once again, that's somebody's business model. So respect the business model, right? If they set the table, if they set the stage, you may say, you know what? If I was gonna hire my own videographer, if I was gonna hire my own camera person, where would I get an audience from? I need some good branding shots, and they say if I pay $500, I'm gonna get all of that. Then it may make sense, right? So I want you to think it from a business lens. Does it make sense as a business for me to do this? And if it doesn't make sense as a business, then I'm not gonna do it. Linda.
Thank you.
Hi, Linda.
Yes, thank you very much for your inspiration and your information and for creating visuals for us to just lock into. And I appreciate you so much. My question to you is, when you quoted the scripture, as a man thinketh, the important part is in his heart. And so my question to you was, when you left Germany, you came back, you went to NSA, and you saw all of these individuals speaking on leadership. How or what pivot happened in you, God, whatever it was, that actually solidified for you what was in your heart to be, and to develop your brand or who you are?
That's a very great question. I know exactly when it happened. For me, it was my first trip to Ghana, and I got invited over to Ghana to come and speak. And as I got off the airplane, the gentleman, a name that picked me up from the airport, I was just enamored that they selected me to come and speak. I was overjoyed. I was overwhelmed. I really didn't even think I belonged there. And so I'm talking to him and I'm asking him, I'm saying, hey man, have you ever heard of Les Brown? Have you ever heard of Miles Monroe? Have you ever heard of Simon T. Bailey? And I was trying to figure out, why'd y'all select me? Why'd you select Will Moreland?
Mhm.
And this is what he said to me. He says, Dr. Will, we do not know this Simon T. Bailey. We do not know this Miles Monroe. We do not know this T.D. Jakes. We know Will Moreland, and that's who we wanted. And it was at that moment when I realized that I had a voice, that I had a contribution to give to this world, that maybe everybody didn't want to hear me, but there were some people that was going to resonate with me. There were some people, the Bible says this, my sheep know my voice and another they will not follow. And so I knew at that moment there were a collective group of people that was going to resonate with my message, resonate with my leadership, resonate with my information. And ever since that day, I knew that I had a voice. And this is what I tell all our speakers, your voice is somebody's medicine. Your voice, your message is somebody's medicine. And one of the things that we get tripped up with is making sure that it's pretty and making sure that it's all boxed up nice and we want the branding and all that. But this is what I say. If somebody's in the ocean and they're drowning, all they need for you to do is stick your hand out. They don't need you to be CPR certified. They don't need you to have a medical degree. And that's what we do. Before we want to help and serve people, we want to make sure it looks all pretty. But if I'm drowning, I just need you to stick your hand out, stick a raft out there. Now, later on, if you want to go get certification and CPR in case it happened again, that's on you. But right now, just get me out the water. And for most people, they just want you to get them out the water.
Excellent. Thank you for your insights and for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Wyman and then Lori.
Right. Hey, Dr. Will, good to see you, my friend. I'm excited because some people, this is the first time they've been exposed to you. And I will tell you, this is the authentic Dr. Will. Every time you see him, he brings it like this. And I will also share, you know how I feel about you, brother. He always has time to take my call. Even though when he sees it, he's most of the time, I'm looking for an answer or an opinion or some guidance. And he still picks up the phone, right?
Now I know we're going to church when you call, bro. So I'm gonna always answer. We're going to church. I'm
You
about to
can't
get some
help it.
encouragement.
Listen, when I talked about Kobe Bryant becoming a student of the game, you pick out someone who's where you want to be and you figure out why they're where they are. Reverse engineer it. What do they do? So if I'm looking at Dr. Will, you know, they say James Brown was the hardest working man in show business. You got to be up there amongst the hardest working men in the speaking industry. If you look at your presence on social media, I think you went for over a year doing a live, over a year, not missing a day, y'all. Do you hear what I just said? Right? And he did that, and look, he's just nodding like, "Hey, yeah, man, that's what I do." Okay, all right, I see you. But so one of the things I look at studying you, your work ethic is bar none. I don't care what industry you're in. It's up there. And some of the fruit of your work ethic is you said, hey, you may be able to sell 10 or 15 books. When you got a gazillion books like you do, it's easy to get that 10 or 15. So could you share with us how many books you've authored? And I'm also assuming you've written them in the last 15 years since you decided to leave and join this industry.
Yeah.
And do you have a goal and how do you crank out that kind of relevant content?
Yeah.
Because anybody can put 2 pages together in a cover and call it a book, but your stuff is real and it's relevant. Could you share that with us?
Yeah, let me some of that's true, but let me give you the real truth behind it. And I think this is where a lot of speakers mess up. And then I want everybody to take this with a grain of salt, depending on where you are in your business. So wherever you are in your business, take this with a grain of salt. So if you're working a 9 to 5 and you're building your business on the side, or you have another company and you're doing this, take all of this with a grain of salt. If you're full-time, I want you to really listen to me. If you're full-time, then be full-time. So what do I mean by that? Just like a job, you gave 8 hours to it, give your speaking business 8 hours. And so people always ask me, so what should I be doing from stage to stage? Because most of us are not speaking every day. So between this event and this event, what am I doing in the interim? That's what Wyman is talking about, is you're developing content, you're developing videos. And here's the mindset. Once again, the mindset. When I was in the military, one of the things that I learned about me, that whatever I'm involved in, I want to be one of the best. I want to be one of the best. So if you want to be one of the best, you got to, as Wyman said, model the best. So no matter, and I found this out, no matter negative or positive, whatever I was doing, when I was a gangbanger, I wanted to be the best gangbanger. So I looked up to the OGs. What are the OGs doing? Let me go hang out with the OGs. I literally hung out with the OGs because the baby gangsters, they were getting sent on menial tasks. Hey, go steal us some chips from the store. Go steal us some. I'm like, I want to. I'm hanging out with the OGs, right? When I joined the military, I was a private, but I'm hanging out with the sergeants. I'm hanging out with the sergeant first classes. I'm hanging out with and I'm modeling them. And I'm looking at their uniform and I'm looking at how they shine their boots. And I'm looking at all of my contemporaries like, oh man, you're not shining your boots. You're not. And what I learned was, wait a minute, if you look the part, people treat you the part. And so even though I was a private, I would send my uniform to the cleaners. So it was starched, it was pressed, my boots would shine. And so people would say, hey, Sergeant. And then they would look at my rank. Oh man, you're a private. But because the way I looked, so if you want to be a 20K speaker, are you looking like a 20K speaker? So I looked at the 20K speakers. I looked at the Les Brown with the suit on, the red tie. So if you look at my earlier branding, what did I have? Suit on, red tie. Because that's what success looked like back then. Now we've expanded it a little bit more. I can kind of wear what I want to wear, but I modeled success. I modeled success. Now in 2025, we have such an advantage, and I want you to listen to me, Black NSA. There's never been a time in history where we as Black individuals in the marketplace are starting even with everybody else because of AI. And so when we're talking about production, so to answer, I want to answer your question, Wyman, on books. So here was my thing with books. Books for me are just an extension of my ideas, an extension of if something worked for me. So if it worked for me, I just want to share it, right? So for me, I have a goal of writing 150 books. The way that I did that is every quarter, every 90 days, I write a book. Every 90 days, I write a book. Once again, if you treat it like a business, it's a business. So I have time, I have writing time, 2 hours today, an hour tomorrow, an hour the next day. If you write 3 pages a day, after 90 days, you'll have 180 pages, right? You'll have 180 pages. So every quarter, I write a book. Every year, that's 4 books. 25 years times 4, that's 100 books. That's going to be 150 books, right? And they're just extensions. So as an example, they're just extensions. So the $1 million speaker, I've earned $1 million speaking, how to build a $1 million speaking business. So I said, this may be advantageous to speakers. So I wrote the book. Paid to share your message. This is where I explain the PAM formula. Find your position, your advantage, and your marketing. How to build a thriving speaker business. I realized that I didn't want to speak 100 times a year. I didn't want to speak 100 times a year. I didn't want to live out the hotel. So how did I build a thriving speaker business? I added coaching. We have an academy. I do consulting. And so I realized that I wasn't going to earn $1 million just from speaking. Because if you look at it, do the math. Even if you get paid 25K a gig, how many events is that? How many events is that? 40 or 50, right? That you'd have to do. Well, what does that look like? How many companies do you have to go through research to do that, right? 50 motivational quotes from Hall of Fame speakers. I looked up one day and I had relationships with all these Hall of Fame speakers, had calls with them, got coached by them. I said, I'm just going to share their message in this book. Master the mic. If you're going to be the best of the best, you got to master the mic. So we have a training program that we call Master the Mic. I do a 3-day training program where people fly out here to Phoenix, come to our office, and for 3 days, we teach them how to master the mic. Dominate your backyard. What is this about? Every year, before I even leave Arizona, I want to earn $1 million in Arizona. Dominate your backyard. So many of you, y'all want to go national, you want to go international, you want to go global, but you haven't even dominated your backyard. So are there at least 20 companies in your own backyard that should be hiring you, that should be knowing about your work? So you want to become a local star in your own backyard. And so getting on local TV, getting on these local shows, these local blogs right in your area, you want to become a superstar. Now, with AI now, guys, I just wrote a book the other day with AI and it took me 6 hours. And so I had planned to write 100 books in 25 years. I'm probably going to do it in 5 years with the help of AI. And that's a whole nother discussion in terms of how do you make it authentic and all that kind of stuff. It's not just me saying, here's my idea, spit it out, but it's literally learning how to use AI. And so framing it, here's my framework, here's my ideas. Think of AI as an enhancer, right? It takes your idea and enhances it. It takes your idea and expands it. And so it's your ideas, it's your framework, and then it's able to go back and forth and do all the research you were going to do anyway, do all the, stuff you're going to do anyway. So I hope that that kind of gives you some insight. So I am everywhere. I'm everywhere socially because I can just sit here in my desk, guys. We're so blessed to be in this industry. It's 110 degrees out here. I'm not outside building houses. I'm not construction worker. If you can't turn on your desk fan and crank it out right in your house with the air conditioning going on, then you shouldn't be in this industry. We're so blessed to even be talking and having this conversation to put us in a position where somebody would pay us $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 for 1 hour to be on the stage. And you're telling me I can't do 5 videos a day. I can't post on 7 different platforms from my computer.
Right.
When your grandmother and your grandfather was washing their clothes from hand and walking 8 miles, you're telling me we can't? It's because you think this is being on the beach and sipping Mai Tais. No, before you get on the beach and sip Mai Tais, you got to put in the work. And then let me say this before we go to Lori. I know we run out of time. Listen, guys, this is the opportunity that you have. I don't have 1 million followers on any platform. I don't have over 10,000 followers on there, maybe LinkedIn, maybe. But what my point is, I don't have a huge social media following. And I'm number 8 on this list. Above Eric Thomas, above Les, above Lisa, above everybody else, because I crush social media. So when somebody nominated me and the people go, and I looked at it to be on the global list, they look at what's your contribution. So what's my contribution to the industry? I've written 7 books, right? This is my contribution. I have a mastermind class. I have I Dominate Speakers magazine. I dominate the industry. I'm not just in the industry, I dominate the industry. We got a speakers academy. And so I want you guys, how can I dominate my industry? Whatever your topic is, whatever your subject is, how can I dominate it? Am I doing a blog about it? Am I doing videos about it? With AI now, you can go to ChatGPT and say, give me 365 posts about this topic. Put your picture up there. Put the quote up there and post. Chat, give me 50 video ideas. I want to do 50 1-minute videos. Let me ask you guys something. How long would it take you to do 50 1-minute videos?
50 minutes.
50 minutes. You're telling me you don't have to, and I'll even let you mess up a couple of times. And if you messed up a couple of times, it would take you 2 hours. You're telling me in 24 hours a day, 168 hours a week, 8,760 hours a year, you don't have 50 minutes to put you into a position to earn 25K? Then you don't really want it. All right, I'm off my soapbox. Lori, I know you had your hand up.
Just real quick, because I'm wrapping up. Hello, my Millionaire Mastermind accountability partner.
Yes.
So to have you here. And just quickly as we wrap up, will you describe how you scaled your business with your team? Who's on your team? What does that consist of? And how do you work your team to be able to do all the things that you're doing?
Okay, this is going to fool you again. This is going to fool you again.
Fool me once.
This is going to fool you again. I'm the team.
Okay.
I'm my PR person. I'm my social media person. I update my own website. Now, every once in a while, I have a virtual assistant come in, do some tasks, but I'm the team. And once again, I know we look at from the outside, we look at and thinking, I'm in. I've never ran a Facebook ad. I'm not against Facebook ads. I've never run YouTube. I'm not against, I'm just saying what I've done. I haven't done that. I've used free organic reach. And so if you need to build your business on a shoestring, but there's no excuse. If you go to my website, built by Dr. Will, updated by Dr. Will, it's the same website I've had for 15 years. That's that same website that got me top 10. It's the same website that got me inducted into the Business Hall of Fame. And so I don't want us to make roadblocks in our head. I don't want you to say, oh, once I get this, I can do. No, you have right now, today, everything that you need to be a big brand speaker right now. Everything you need.
Love it. Thank
Go
you.
to your local hotel, go to their conference room and say, I just need to get some B-roll. Set up your iPhone or your Android, walk on the stage, talk to yourself, come back home, do a voiceover. The way I like to impact audiences is I like to talk about my framework, CHAMPS. Hire Wayman Winbush today to be your next speaker. All of us can do that.
Yes.
Call Lori and say, Lori, I need you to do me a voiceover. Call DJ Amani. Say, Amani, I got $20, man. Can you read my bio for me so I can sound cool? Ken, I'm going to send you my book. David, I'm going to send you my book. Eva, I'm going to send you my book. Can you hold it up and do a testimonial for me? Leaders are raving over my new book. It's all created, guys. It's all created.
Thank you.
It's how you market yourself. It's all created.
Absolutely.
Muhammad Ali. I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was. You forget the list. You have to, as a man thinketh in his mind, you got to say to yourself right now, I'm the greatest speaker that has ever spoken. I don't care if you don't know yet. I'm waiting for y'all to catch up. And that's the mindset that you got to have. Muhammad Ali's mindset. Before I even stepped in the ring, I'm the greatest. And if you have that mindset with technology and everything that we have right now, and I was just on a meeting yesterday, I'm telling you what AI is coming up with, that's going to be a whole nother meeting. Like what you're going to be able to do with your business, Lori, you're talking about like the guy just pitched me. This AI is going to be able to answer the phone for you, walk people through all your presentations. You'll be able to say, we're looking for Dr. Will. We're picking between this keynote and that keynote. Can you just explain to us which one would work better for our conference? And the AI, not sounding like a computer, like sounding like a real person, is going to be able to walk your clients through it. Literally, it's amazing. So yeah. All right, Jason, back to you. I know I'm over time.
Oh, this was amazing. Oh, we told you it was going to be insightful, didn't we? We told you to buckle up, get ready, and it's on. Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Will. I learned so much from you, and I'm sure each and every one of us learned so much from you. And what we'd like to do, and it's going to be very, very helpful for us at Black NSA, is if a few of you could just share what today's session meant to you. Give us some feedback. We appreciate a testimonial from 2 to 3 of you as we wrap up. What's today's session mean to you? If we can get a few volunteers, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Who's going to be number one? All right, I guess I'm going to be number one.
Oh.
Ladies first, go ahead.
Thank you so much. So this morning, I literally woke up and I said, I need to know that I can do this, like that this is possible. And I was like, God, you need to give me a message because I'm this close to just going to something else.
Excellent, excellent. Do we have a second?
Yeah, and I got it. Thank you.
God bless. God bless.
Yeah, this is Ken. Phenomenal, just phenomenal. I've been on a lot of these calls, and for you to give of your experience, also the inspiration that you put into us is God-given. I truly believe that. And so I thank you. I cannot even believe that we have the relationship that we had, which just came off of, I think I saw you on Talk About. Okay. And here we are getting ready to put out a book, which we will do. And the only other thing I'd like to say is I wish there were more people on this. We are the choir. So each and every one that's on here, you have gotten a treat. Think of the other 100 or 1,000 people that could have used this. Black, white, green, purple, I don't care the background, but they're not here. But we are. And so I went over, had another meeting, but I just stayed on because I so respect you and your message. Thank you again, Dr. Will Moreland.
Thank you. Linda?
Hi, Linda here. Listen, you are a mind blower because you just knocked down all the barriers, all the objections, all the things that people will say, I can't do this because. It's called the but clause, okay? But but, and so you just knock those out because by sharing your experience, where you came from, where you are now, a person can actually visualize, can actually resonate with what your journey has been and how you're still doing it so very well. Not even saying, I have thousands of dollars, I have this, I have that, I need to have this. You are amazing. And I appreciate you once again. And thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you. And Lori?
The doctor was in the house, changed every way that you think about doing your business, think about the ways that you're not doing your business. Authenticity, he put the A in that. It was amazing in terms of being real, being extremely humble, kind, generous, and was all about giving. The strategies, the philosophies, even sharing revenue numbers to keep it real, amazing. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Definitely. Dr. Will, I want to tell you this. I joined Black NSA last week. Today, with this session, this incredible mastermind, this 90-minute mastermind that you so humbly gave of yourself, man, listen, from this information alone, this is going to pay for my entire year of Black NSA. Do you hear me? I tell you why. First of all, you did 3 incredible things. You took every excuse off the table. Someone can't leave this. None of us can leave this and say, listen, we need to hire this person. We need to employ this person. We need to find this person. You are a one-man show, and you're showing how it's done, not on a mom and pop level, but on the global stage. Number 2, you've instilled the mindset that, listen, figure it out. If you want it as bad as you say you want it, all the tools are at your disposal. So are you going to continue to make excuses or get it done? It's just that simple. So all of us can leave this call with practical tools that we can employ off this call and get it done. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Eva.
Well, Dr. Will, I have to, thank you, but also share how you brought me to tears. And you're like, okay, what did I say that brought me to? When you said how the rest of the world sees us compared to those of us who have been born and raised in America, that had me raise my level of respect for me. It raised my level of empowerment, of value, of gifts for me. I too live in Germany every summer. And I've always shown up, having grown up in the 1960s and lived in America, feeling in the inferiority that I was treated as and that my ancestors were treated as. And that one statement that you made shifted who I am. And I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Excellent, excellent. And I'm going to wrap up with my testimonial. For me, I've written 3 books. And when you shared in terms of the books you've written and why you've written them, and I know that I'm working now on relaunching my 3rd book and turning my curriculum of my books into a learning vehicle, online or a master course. So it just edified for me that I'm on the right track. So I definitely appreciate you. I knew that this was going to be insightful. So we really thank all of the attendees as well for attending, because without you, the attendees, we would not have such a lively discussion. So thank you for your questions. Thank you for your inquiries. And Dr. Will, thank you for an excellent presentation. And as we wrap up, we're doing this the first Thursday of every month. So next month, coming up on July 3rd, we have Dr. James Smith. Dr. James Smith Sr. out of Philadelphia. And I've known James for a long, long time through my years of being a member of National Sales Network. That's when I met Dr. James Smith many, many years ago. So I reached out to him, and he's going to be our third mentorship individual who's going to be providing us some guidance. So we just hope that each of you will attend and that you'll tell someone else. Someone said we need to have more people on this. Certainly, we want to share the message and we want to provide the insights and guidance for everyone. So thank you all, and we're going to wrap up, and we look forward to seeing everyone next month.
Can I just say quickly, David, welcome to the family. What you said is so true. I mean, this family is a beautiful family, and we're having a family reunion in the backyard of Dr. Will and Influence in Arizona. So come and join us, and welcome to the family. You're going to love it here.
I will be there. I booked Influence last week. So definitely thank you, Lori, so much. I appreciate that.
We will look for you there. Bye, everyone. Have a good day.
Take care, everyone. Be safe. Have a good week.